Well, good evening there, and welcome to issue 28, and this is all about the Sagittarian ox. And as you can see on the captions beforehand, those are the dates you have to be and the year you have to be in the Sagittarius ox. So let's begin with the Sagittarius ox as a child. Now, the Sagittarian child is a little bit accident prone, shall we say, but the ox is not. The ox is very deliberate in all of its movements and all of its workings. It'll go to school, it doesn't rush about, this is tempered, this is quite a bit stronger than the actual Sagittarian itself, so it will lead itself to the ox being the leader in this combination, which is fantastic. This is a really good match for the Sagittarian in the sense of it balances the person completely out, which is very good, because sometimes Saggies can run about, be friends with absolutely everybody, run about, accident prone, and not getting anywhere in life, and this is where this is a fantastic combination. So here we have the child, as we've said, really do respect authority. There's something with the Sagittarian ox which really respects age. So the older the teacher, the more respect they will gain, because they're very traditional. It's a very traditional combination. They think somebody who's got to that age commands respect. They tend to get on exceptionally well with their grandparents or even great-grandparents, you know, because there's a lot of respect here for somebody who's seen a lot more than them, somebody who's been through a lot more experiences. So and that stays with them all the way through. Very much a respect for the elderly, and also all their family members of certain ages. They tend to be the ones going to visit elderly family in homes, or maybe even putting them up and sort of like saying, hey, I'll look after you, because there is that, as I say, that inbuilt tradition that they like to keep that going. So if we take them into their studies, as I say, very deliberate, very slow, but will make sure they are perfection. So they can have a very long scholarship. They can have many years of resitting exams whenever they're allowed, and say they've got a C in it, they want to resit it, get a B, then they want to resit it, get an A, because that's how they do it. They think everything as a machine, finely tuned, and it needs to be put together exactly, and that's how they treat their mind. They're very high-minded, so if they've dropped a handful of marks, they don't want that to happen again, and that's the way they go through. So we're taking them through up until they could leave school in 25, 28. They have no want to leave home until that age anyway. The Sagittarian is prone to maybe being a bit glib with love, maybe classed as a bit of a sleep around, but the ox is definitely not. And the ox is capable of being celibate for many months. I'm not saying that this combination will do that, because the Sag is still a fire sign and quite hot-blooded in that sense, but I can see them going a while, and sort of casual sexual affairs or anything like that doesn't appeal to them at all. So they won't be put off their studies. They will wait for the right sort of relationship, tend to get into a relationship quite later on after they've done their studies. Will enjoy travelling, very much so enjoy travelling as well. So they could be doing long scholarships and then going travelling, seeing the world, gaining cultures, really setting them up in a high-minded sort of way. You've got to look at sort of a really sort of refined character here. Likes the best of foods, not in a snobbish way, but in a nice way, where they really want to immerse themselves in cultures, and you know, and they're very exclusive in that sense. So as we say, we're taking them through their late 20s, and they will start basically wherever they start working. I advise they probably would have done pretty well in the end up at school. So they would go into something, probably anything to do with histories, very good war historians, and that's the love of people who have deserved and earned praise, and they will carry on the name. Museum curators, historic teachers, or the people that take you on walks around the East End of London, with the old tales of Jack the Ripper, etc., or and places like that, places of real substantial interest. Castle curators as well, you know, that really does hold a deep passion for them. If they do get into relationships, it will, I think, be nearer to the 30s than it will be to the early 20s. So once they've got their careers sorted, they won't go without money. The Sag does like to spend its money, and the Ox is quite cautious. So it's a very good blend, because they won't be completely shut up on ideas on ways of spending. So they will be able to spend a bit and enjoy themselves a little, but they will always have a few quid, and that's quite important to them. Nor, I wouldn't say the major interest for them, but certainly they won't have to worry about cash, which is excellent. That's an excellent place to be in, especially for this combination. So as we take them through, going on to later, yes, they could end up in high positions, but I think they're quite happy working on their own, or in that sense, if they're just a curator of a place, that's it. They don't wish to be the owner. They like to be the top persons talking about what they talk about, but they say it with such passion and such meaning that everyone wants to listen to them anyway. Quite captivating like that. And as I say, they've no need to, or no lust to order people about. That's just not the way they are. They're not a leader, but then again, they're not a follower. So it is really a really good combination, this, for both of them. You know, it brings the Ox out of its shell a little as well with the Sag. So very complementary. So if we look on to the partners for the Sagittarian Ox, now I love to see them with roosters. I mean, this is a fantastic combination, because okay, the rooster's a bit eccentric and a bit maybe at the opposite scale of the tradition sense, but they're hard workers, and the Oxen appreciates people who are going to diligently stick to tasks, and there'll be very big respect between these, the rooster and the Ox, and there always will be. They don't mind the rooster rushing here, there and everywhere, because they know they're working for a higher goal, working for a better life together. So yeah, they can carry on, and the Ox will slowly, deliberately do what it does best, you know, fine-tuning, getting the details right, being the planner with the rooster. That's fantastic. But get them being the mind and the rooster be the doer. So if we keep to the Leo rooster, the Aquarius rooster, and the Aries rooster, they are all fun matches, and I really would sort of stick in that zone. And also the snake with its gain on wealth, and also its nice sedate nature, but also very defensive if this couple was ever sort of bothered or anything like that. So there's a real nice bond between those two as well. So if we go with the snake, but we can also include the Libra in this, so we go Libra snake, Leo snake, Aquarius snake, and we can stick with the Aries snake as well. So they're very, very strong. With the Oxen, no goats whatsoever. The goat, without its its lack of structure, really, is really would wind up the Oxen, and vice versa, where the strict governing of the Oxen's mind and the way it uses its time would very much irritate the goat, because the goat, as we know, likes to float, but it likes to do it in his way. So that's no match at all. I would very much steer clear of of that combination. We have to move on to health issues. With the Sagittarian and the Ox, whereas depression could have been play a part sometimes in the Sag, because, you know, being the Jova one, that won't necessarily come into this. So whereas I've mentioned Sagittarius can be prone to that, not with this combination. The Ox will level it out and keep things a bit more practical. So that's not a concern here, which is I enjoy saying that, because as we know, Sagittarius, for all their highs and lows, they can get into these ruts of depression. So I'm really pleased to say that isn't the case here. What we have here, we have an unusual one for the Sag. We have to look out for the legs. Circulation of the legs can be a big problem here. It's because they're quite a slow, methodical mover that they may not be as active as the Sag needs. So therefore, arthritic conditions, possibly things like that, gout of the lower legs, joint trouble, really, basically, and it is all to do with the legs. You won't tend to find it anywhere else, but that's the little bit of the oxen weakness there, and it won't be helped, shall we say, in that sense. So keep that exercise as regular as possible, although I know they're busy thinking a lot. So anyway, good luck to all the Sagittarius oxen out there, and I hope you tune in for the next issue.